Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Oh, he just peeled off. Oh. Little boat shy that one was, Jeffrey. You know, the thing about musky fishing that makes it so great is the visual experience you get with these fish. And so many of the muskies that you catch end up biting right by the boat. So it's really important to be good at the boat. And to be good at the boat, you need to know how to figure eight properly. So the bucktail is probably the most commonly used lure for musky fishing, and it's probably the best lure that there is for figure eighting or converting fish that are following into striking. And there's a lot of nuance to this technique. So I'm going to walk you through how I would figure eight with a bucktail. So as the bait is approaching the boat, I'm going to reel really close to the tip of the leader. I'm going to get that bait really close. The closer the lure is to your rod tip, the more you can control how the bait moves. And the big secret with this is being able to move the bait in a big enough turn that the fish can follow it. The biggest mistake I see people do is they'll have a lot of line out and they'll go to figure eight and they'll make these turns like this, and the bait is just basically doing nothing and the fish can't follow it. So if you get your bait really close to the rod tip, like you can see when I'm figure eighting, that's how close I am to the tip of the rod, just maybe an inch or two of line out. And you're gonna come through a straightaway, you're gonna go out into a corner, usually you slow it down, then come fast through these straightaways, hang it out in the corner, fast through a straightaway. And the big secret is bending your knees, getting way out and making those big turns. And the other thing is too, when you're doing this, I always have the reel disengaged. So I'm pushing free spool when I'm doing this. And the reason for that is if I do hook a fish, I want to use my thumb as the drag. So if a fish bites in this outside corner, I'm going to pull in to try to get the hooks in the corner of its mouth, or I'm going to pull back against the fish, and when it starts going nuts, I've got the reel disengaged, and I'll just use my thumb as a drag to let the fish get a little bit of line out, because you don't want a 30-pounder with 1 inch of line and the drag totally locked down. So that's a really big deal when it comes to fishing bucktails at the side of the boat. Now, it's not the same for every category of lure. If you're fishing a rubber bait, for example, I might have a lot more line out so that I could throw the bait in a corner. I'll give you an example of that. And the topwater is another deal that Jeff will talk about. But here, I'll give you an example with a rubber bait here, how I would end up figure eighting this one. It's different than the bucktail. You're not gonna have quite as much line. So I toss the bait out, and as this bait's coming in, I'm gonna leave more line out, and I'm gonna try to hop that bait out and away. So I want more line out, come through the straightaway here, and I can almost throw the bait further out with more line, if you can see that working. So it's not the same with every lure. With the bucktail, you want it really close. With a rubber bait or a jerk bait where you can kind of toss the bait, you want to get a little bit more line out. Now, topwater is another pretty decent chance of catching a fish that follows, and people always ask, well, do I keep the bait on the surface or do I take it subsurface?
Okay, so when Jer and I are out musky fishing, one of us will choose a bait they're gonna throw and the other one will throw a different bait. So Jer's throwing a bucktail in front, he's got the bow, he's gonna throw that. I'm gonna throw topwater behind him and see if that works. So that's how we generally start off musky fishing. And with topwater, like Jer said, bucktail is really a superior figure eight bait. But with topwater, there are things that you can do if a fish follows it in. Now, ideally they come up and eat it out there, but they will follow it in. And there's one move you can make. So say the fish is right on it right here, pretend the boat is a piece of structure and you keep it on top. It runs up against the wall. And you run it. So just basically what I'll do, I'll actually speed the bait up right here at the end and then run it up against the wall, you know, right here. And generally if you let it hang right there, they'll hit it right there. Probably a better option if you're working and you have a fish follow you and it's not committed, right about here, I'll put my rod tip below the water and bring that bait down and bring it tight to the rod tip, and now it'll work pretty good like a bucktail. And then hang it up here in the corners, maybe come up. Get him. So there's a way, even though you're working it's not a bucktail and you're working at topwater, there's a way to figure eight most baits at the boat.
That was fun. That was super fun.